はい、ということで元気でしょうか皆さん。Welcome to the Mighty Crown Official YouTube. Yes, so we got another person to interview today. はい、今日は皆さん第2弾でございます。インタビュー。はい、BUJUに続いて今回はBUJUとも非常に仲のいい、はい、モーガンヘリテージの一人の一人を呼びたいと思います。Alright, so we got GRAMPS MORGAN from MORGAN Heritage today. Welcome!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wagwan Gramps.
Why trying to stay safe in this whole virus era, you know?
Indeed. It's getting really crazy in Japan too. Like more COVID people, you know. Every day it's increasing. It was safe for a while, but now it's increasing again because everybody's out on the streets and you know. Yeah. So today, you know, of course, I would like to talk to you about the new single. But before we reach to the new single talk, I would like, you know, basically have a little chat about you with the, you know, the whole background with MORGAN Heritage and, you know, what's going on with MORGAN Heritage and then to the single and to the album.
Absolutely.
All right, so Gramps, when did MORGAN Heritage start, like as a career?
Well, officially, I would say 1992 after performing on Reggae Sunsplash in Montego Bay, Jamaica. That's when the world discovered a band called MORGAN Heritage. But prior to then, there was so much work, you know, the building up and, you know, going to music lessons and playing for different artists. And, you know, at one point, we were a backing band for the 12 Tribe of Israel, which was a Rastafarian organization in Queens, New York. Okay. So that was our stomping ground where we performed as the backing band for artists like Judah Iskandar, Judith Mowat, Sister Carol, you name it, you know, and as well as our father DENROY Morgan. So that was the beginning of MORGAN Heritage's stomping grounds until we got to Reggae Sunsplash in 1992. Then we were signed to MCA Records, and that's where the journey began. And we did an album with MCA Records. It was released in 1994. 2 years later, called Miracle. And then, you know, people were into it, and it was like, this album sounds like the future of reggae. That's what people were saying. Like it was too futuristic. And then we just decided to, you know, we asked them to release us so we can kind of just really take it from the grassroots. And then at the same time, my father moved to Jamaica. I was like, yo, now come with me. I'm just done. He just, you know, he moved to St. Thomas, Jamaica. I was like, yo, daddy, we are coming up.
Okay.
And he said, all right, I'm forward, you know. And shortly after that, we made King Jammy's and Bobby Digital.
Okay. No, like I thought the first album was from actually with Bobby. So
no.
So I didn't know that history right there. So
yeah, you see.
Okay. So so after that was the album with Bobby then?
Bobby Digital and King Jammy's.
Okay, and King Jammy's.
Yeah, because they were released a year apart. They were recorded at the same time because we were coming from St. Thomas, Jamaica, driving from St. Thomas to Kingston every day, working at King Jammy's in the morning and working at Bobby Digital in the evening. This is a history a lot of people don't even know. And we've said it before, but it kind of, after albums release, people forget about the history. But those albums are, which one was called One Calling, which was King Jammy's album, and the other one was called Protect Us, Jah. Both released on EP Records.
So which one was first? It was the King Jammy's album?
No, it was Bobby Digital, Protect Us, Jah.
Oh, that was the first.
Yeah.
And then
okay,
because I know like I know like some of the singles that you have from King Jammy's label, but I didn't even know like the album was released.
Oh yeah, it was an album called One Calling, and the single was recorded by his brother Uncle T, a true name. 1 dingy, 2 dingy, 3 dingy, 4 dingy man. Could I come to cha-cha, come everyone is a Rasta man.
Okay, so when you guys start that, like, so you guys moved to Jamaica then from New York?
Yeah, man, we moved from Brooklyn. We still had our studio in Brooklyn, but we was just really, you know, we were still children. So we listened to what Daddy said to us and went to Jamaica and was living in St. Thomas at the time.
Okay, what age was you around that time?
I was just like in maybe 19, 20, around them time there. Yeah. This is, let me say, after Jameer, it was like a year after Jameer was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jameer was born already.
Yeah, Jameer just born. I think this was like 95.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the time, around that time I first met Morgan Heritage, because I still remember vicing dubplate in Brooklyn studio.
That's right.
Yeah.
I want to tell you that people need to know this history. Like, I'm happy for this time, for this, you know, this whole time that we can sit and talk as artists and sound systems and you know, radio stations, because there's a lot of history that needs to be told. Mighty Crown was was the first Japanese sound system to record Morgan Heritage on dubplate. Then I'll say again, Mighty Crown was one of the first sound system, period, in the world to record Morgan Heritage on dubplate. One of the very first person was Babyface, and he was living with King Addies at the time. And he was the one that really made us know that there was this sound system culture that existed on dubplate, and you had to voice and you would collect a couple $100, and if the song was big, then you can charge a bigger money. We didn't even know. So big up to Babyface, aka Lion Face. And then shortly after, there was a bridge named King Kirk, and then Don't Beat the Rule Lad. You know, so we started recording locally. This was just right in the studio in Bushwick in Brooklyn. And then boom, 2 Japanese brothers come ring the doorbell and say, yo, we need some dubplate. And I'm like, what? What do you guys know about dubplate? Not knowing that you guys were so masterful. And I'll never forget when you guys had a clash at Amazura, I think the next night or 2 days after. And you guys murdered it. I'll never forget, because it was on a cassette them days there, you know.
Yeah.
And when y'all dropped, I saw I did them test Mighty Crown. And the whole crowd went, I was like, yo, goosebumps took me that day, man.
Yeah.
Because I felt the forward want to get the night.
Yeah, man, definitely.
It was crazy.
It was. That was a historical night for me as well. That was my exposure right there. You know?
Oh, man, it was crazy, man.
It was like, everybody was like, yo, what the Japanese boy know about sound clash? And like, first of all, like when I entered the arena, those days are dubplate and record. So you carry that heavy dub box up to the stage, and while I carry the dub box, people like, yo, Japanese boy, you can't talk. We know about sound systems. Yo, in the crowd, you know, people are just giving it. Yeah, just weird.
Oh, God. Hey, Japanese boy. And you guys are the forefathers. I mean, it's so legendary what you and your brother have created, and Chin, you know, joining forces with Chin, and it's I mean, you guys changed the game. You know, after that, I remember we came to Japan like 2 years later, and what people don't know, that these amount of Japanese that have the opportunity to get a visa and travel and go to Jamaica and voice some of these artists, there is 1,000 more sound systems that never get a chance to go to Jamaica. So when we went to Japan, listen, all they would say was, me want dubplate style like Mighty Crown style. You guys set the standard, man, and we made some good money because of you guys, man.
You know, I'm really glad to hear that, because a lot of people don't want to admit that more time. But like, yo, you're the second person to admit that, you know, it was Shined and Morgan Heritage just admit, say, yo, you know, say, because of Mighty Crown, a whole heap of dubplate money.
Facts. Facts.
I'm glad to hear that though. Like at least I did something for the business. You see me?
Oh, absolutely. You changed the business, brother. Hands down, without a doubt.
All right, so back to Morgan Heritage now. How many members? Is it 5, 6?
Yeah, five members in Morgan Heritage. In the beginning, in 1992, it was 8 members. And then my older brothers and three of my older brothers, Junior, Jeffrey, and David, decided that, hey man, because the band wasn't happening, we got signed, the album wasn't selling. We did good for a couple weeks. And then it was just like, I got kids to feed, and they was like, yo, I'm gonna give this music thing a break. And then it left me, Yuna, Peter, Lukes, and Mojo.
Okay.
And that's when the move went to Jamaica. And we went to Jamaica, the story from there. But after that, when a couple years later we won the Grammy, and I just fast forwarded like 25 years, and it, Luke's doesn't tour anymore as much as, but it's still, we're still Morgan Heritage 5 members. But most of the time you'll see on tour it's me, Peter, and Mojo. Yeah, because Yuna had a heart attack in was 2006. I think it was 15 or 16. It was right before we went to the Grammys, because I remember I had her on FaceTime at the Grammys on the red carpet. So a lot of people don't know that, we was on tour with, Damian Marley, Stephen Marley. Who else is on that tour? Taurus Riley, Joe Mercer, Skip Marley, Morgan Heritage, and Jamiri. So that was a big tour called the Catch a Fire Tour.
That's 2000 and around 2015.
Yeah. That was the summer of 2015 after we released the album Strictly Roots. That's the album that won the Grammy. And then just, she had a heart attack on the tour. So after, our main focus was just say, hey, recover, just take your time. And, a lot of people don't know that story. It came out, but we didn't do like a big press release that our sister,
Yeah.
And now she's coming back day by day, just taking it slow. And she's in a wonderful place now and just getting our health together. And, I'm just happy that she's here in flesh.
That's good. That's good to hear. I didn't know she had a heart attack. But I was just wondering, like, now you guys are all living in a different place.
Yeah, man. Different place.
You have your family and stuff like that. So.
Of course.
So what? How? So you're in Nashville now, right?
Yeah, man. I between St. Thomas, Jamaica, on the mountaintop, and Jamaica and Nashville, Tennessee. Before it was Jamaica, New York, and Brooklyn. But we had to get out of Brooklyn, man. Brooklyn was getting too crazy.
Rough.
Yeah, man. You didn't want to hurt nobody,
Yeah, I mean, Bushwick, like when I first went to voice the dubplate in Bushwick, it was like a very scary spot for me as a Japanese youth, especially because, in the black community and, there's no Asian, no Japanese youth basically walking.
No.
Like, yo, Jap, what the blood clot you are doing on my neighborhood?
It was crazy. When I see you guys at the front gate, I'm like, yo, but respect to Aki and Salfish, which we know them as Hiro and Aki.
Yeah.
So they first came to our home, and Major Mackerel used to rent one of our apartments in right next door.
Okay.
So that's how they met Major Mackerel, and they say, Major Mackerel is a legend, and he was in Brooklyn, staying at an apartment where we was renting to someone, and they wanted him to teach them how to DJ.
Yeah.
So Hiro and Aki was living at my house for 5 years. So they were some of the first of the Japanese that moved into our house, and then they moved out, and that was around 1990, around that time.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
They were living with me. They were living with me like in Brooklyn, like after that, like about 93, 90, yeah, around that time, 92, 93-ish.
What?
Yeah,
see, I'm mixed up with the time, but I know they was with us for a while, and then even for a while, there was a couple more Japanese that came. It wasn't what name? Masa. Yeah. You remember Masa?
Yeah, man, Masa.
What? You remember Masa?
Masa used to live around here. That's the first time I really realized, like, yo, Morgan Heritage, you know, I know those guys, man. So that's the link where I'm saying, yo, all right, yeah, man, need the dub plate from them on there, man. And then,
yeah, man.
That's how the whole link comes about.
Yeah, man. So big up to Masa and another guy. He also came. He was wicked. He was like a Japanese bad boy, you know. He was one of the biggest Japanese I ever see. A guy named McCoy.
Oh, McCoy. That's the whole ASEAN Sawfish crew, you know.
Oh yeah, man. And
we all come from the same home, so.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know I had a Japanese girlfriend for like 2-3 years, man. She would go back and forth between Brooklyn and Japan. Okay. And her name, what was her name again? Hiromi.
Yeah.
Hiromi. So hi Hiromi.
Oh wow. So what's the story of you reaching down to Nashville? What's the whole movement because of the from St. Thomas to Nashville? What made it you live down there?
Well, several reasons. When I was on tour with India RE, we did several cities, and we was on tour with John Legend, and I toured with India for like 3 years, on and off, different tours, but I did like 4 tours with India. And when we got to Nashville, the musical director, Shannon Sanders, he's the musical director, and me and him India RE couldn't wait for me and this man to meet and say, yo, when these two brothers get together, it's our craziness. Exactly what India said, that's exactly what happened. Then he kept on saying to me at the time, I had a house in Atlanta, and he kept on saying, yo, man, get out of Atlanta, man. Like, too much fluff in Atlanta. And I was like, hey, what are you talking about? Atlanta, black chocolate city, what are you talking about? And he said, man, you bigger than that, man. You bigger than that. And I'm like, what? Anyway, we passed through Nashville Pandit Tour, so it's his hometown, and, you know, Nashville is known as Music City. And then when we got there, I'm performing my set before India at a place called the Ryman. If you look up that place, RYMAN. And I threw my hands up in the air and go, so bam, I'm moving to Nashville. And the crowd went crazy. And the Ryman Theater is a very famous, every country star that you can name, including Elvis, has performed. It's like you have the White Apollo of Harlem, right? And after that, you know, even that night, my girlfriend was there that night. You know, I'll never forget, she had on a beautiful red dress, you know, she's a Filipino. And I was like, yo, and she was living in the city, so I found so many reasons why I should move. And me and her was just clicking, and boom, I said, yo, I looked at my girlfriend at the time, and I said, yo, Nashville, music, no fluff, no hype. All right, Brooklyn, Atlanta, those cities have done their time. And then I moved to Nashville, and so, you know, it was for the music, it was for love, and just a fresh start, you know?
Okay, when did you move in there?
I've been in Nashville now about 8 years, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
But a lot of people still thought I was living in Atlanta, because DeMarco lives in Atlanta. Even DeMarco came to my house a couple times in Atlanta, and me and him vibe a couple times. And Don Corleone had mentioned, you know, moving to Atlanta, but he, you know, then he meant Miami. Then now Don Corleone I think he's in LA. So a lot of artists from Jamaica are now living in the States, so they have homes in the US. Okay. Cocoa Tea included, you know. Yeah. Shabba Ranks is in New York, Burning Spears in New York, Super Cat is in New York, you name it.
Okay, I didn't know Cocoa Tea live in foreign too.
Yeah, man. Okay. Cocoa Tea, Lady G.
They're all in Atlanta, or?
No, Lady G is in New York, New Jersey area. You know, Cocoa Tea is in Florida.
Oh, he's in Florida. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Never know.
Yeah.
So, you know, your father is obviously a big superstar from before Wolawi, you know, was a picnic.
Yes,
right?
of course.
So
Legend.
what was the influence you get from your father, DENROY, who has a big hit? Is he would I call him a soul singer or more like
no? My father was a reggae artist that had a big pop hit. Well, you say pop disco.
Okay.
You know, but back in those days, it was disco was running the thing, which would be like dance music today or pop music. You know, and he linked up with our producer named Bert Reed, which was part of a band called Crown Heights Affair from Brooklyn, which was a brass-driven R&B disco band. And he was, at the time, my father was with his band called the Black Eagles, which was a reggae band, one of the first reggae bands out of New York City. At the time, the lead singer of Third World, Bunny Ruggs, was just doing his solo thing in New York before he became the lead singer of Third World. So he was very close to my father. So it was like the New York circuit and couple Jamaican, but my dad was one of the leading reggae artists. And at the time, the Rastafarian headquarters called
movement.
Yeah, was at my house in Brooklyn. That's where they used to gather until they bought a place in Queens, and then they had their own place. Then they bought Farmers Boulevard. So my family was very instrumental in the 12th tribe of Israel, in the headquarters, and helping a lot of people that came from Jamaica the first time and didn't have no place to stay. They said, go to Cornelia Street, go to Bushwick, man. That'll see me and will help you out, you know? And it was something special that when we were in Brooklyn, my father was that guy, you know, when a lot of the Rastafarians would come to for help, and that was first time in America. My father was that, and his hit "I'll Do Anything For You" just took off. Was one of the first artists to really mash up the Billboard charts, you know. And then came Third World and Shinehead, Shabba, Beanie, Shaggy, Sean Paul, you name it. But my dad was one of the first ones to really make that move.
Mm-hmm. I see. So you were basically learning all like to play the instruments since you were a kid, like around being with your father.
Yeah. Well, as you know, Sammy, a child learns, you know, and as a parent, you know that you have to teach the youth them, right? Yeah. And whatever you do, the child see. So if my father was a bad man or a doctor, then that would be my profession, but he was a musician. So we would always see him rehearsing, and, you know, till this day, you know, when I started growing up, I realized he said, I'm going on tour with Curtis Blow. I'm like, who the hell is Curtis Blow? And then he said, I'm going on tour with Frankie, Beverly, and Mays. And, you know, is when I got older, I was like, yo, Pop's the big man, you know?
Yeah.
And so as a youth, we didn't really know. It was just daddy. So that was the first influence. We saw our father rehearsing with his band to go on tour, and see the tour bus I pull up in front of the house. And I lived to see Morgan Heritage have a tour bus pull up in front of the same house. So a lot of memories, you know?
Man. So you play all like, you basically play the piano, right?
Yeah, man, the keyboards, yes.
Keyboard, yeah. So did your dad like basically was like, yo, all right, Gramps, you play the keyboards, you play the bass, or how did that work?
Very good question, Sammy. What happened is that my father saw the talent in us just based on him being a musician and a lover of music. My father will always tell you he wasn't the greatest musician or the greatest singer, but he loved music. You know, because there's a lot of people that have the talent, but they don't love music. They want they want the benefits of music, but they don't love music, and they have the talent. My dad was different. He loved loved music till this day. You can't get out of him. He still want to be on top of the Billboard charts, you know. And it was a thing where he heard Peter sing. You know, I was the original lead singer of Morgan Heritage now. Until one day Peter started sing out, and it was me, my brothers Peter, Yuna, and my younger sister named Tittle. So it was 4 singers. And then one day Peter just, and we was like, whoa! And then Peter, we said, yo, this man have to be the lead singer. And then from that day, Peter was the lead singer. And he heard my sister Una cry as a baby. And he said to my mother, said, you know, she shall sing though. And my mom would be like, oh, please, you know, see why everybody's singing. Una became a singer. And then boom, I have pictures of myself on the piano at 2 years old, mimicking my father's song that I heard, a song called I am not coming back with no water, but with fire, with one finger. And my father said, this boy. And then so he just saw, it's just a father saw the vision. And then he said, man, look, I can't make a look a reggae band, you know. And at the time, it was like 9 of us in the band, you know. One time, my oldest sister, Janet, she was in the band, and we were supposed to just be our backing artist because she played the piano. We went to classically trained piano in New York. And then, you know, she just grew older. Now she's a nurse and just grew out her music. So it's not everybody that in my family did music. But my father saw the vision in each and every one of us individually.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters you got?
29 brothers and sisters, including me, would be 30. So my father had 30 children.
Wow.
Yeah, man, big family.
Big family. So everybody's spread out now. Everybody
we have family in Ethiopia. Yeah. My brother lives in Ethiopia. We have family in Jamaica, California, Massachusetts, Brooklyn, Florida. We're all spread out. Atlanta. A good portion of the family is in Atlanta.
Okay, cool, man. Never know such a big family. I mean, definitely the name Morgan Heritage. The heritage is on, most definitely.
Yeah.
I want to know the how you and Rest in Paradise Bobby Digital, your linkage with Bobby. I know you told me you moved into St. Thomas with your father in Jamaica. So how did this link start with you and Bobby?
Well, at the time we were just, you know, along the ride with my dad because he had fainted in New York and was, you know, he started to take his health very serious and said, yo, I'm finished with America. It's like, this is too much stress. So that was the main reason why we went, and we were staying at a place called Bath Fountain, which is a health therapeutic kind of hotel in St. Thomas, way up in the mountains. Okay. So he went there for refuge, and when he found it, he came back to New York and said, my children, I found a place. We went with him, and we were just there because we were living with our father. He was saying we're moving to Jamaica. And when things begin to progress, he met a man named Dennis Howard, which is a big radio personality at JBC at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was called JBC at the time. Now it's called Hits FM now. It's 92. So now you formed the radio group at the time. Now you got TVJ. But I was there when it was called JBC.
JBC, yeah.
And he said, yo, DENROY, you sound good enough. You know, he played some stuff that he had remembered when we came to Jamaica in 92. And he said, yo, you them need to work with some Jamaican producer, man. And I said, yo, I'm going to make a link with a man named King Jammies. And my father said, yeah, man, remember King Jammies. But we also want him work with a youth named Bobby Digital. Because he was the young and he was the protege of King Jammies. And long story short, we were introduced to the two of them, and Bobby said, yo, let's come in, man, come provide some joy, man. And that was a journey. I'll never forget the first day recording with Bobby. He made us go and buy ackee and saltfish. No, we went to buy saltfish and flour, and we had to climb the ackee tree at the studio before doing any recording. And what I learned about that, Sammy, is that Jamaican music is not very technical. It's about a vibe.
Yeah.
How you can just hear that's one chord musically. There's no other chord. So it's a vibe that goes with reggae music and dancehall music. It's not a whole heap of technical, it's a vibe, it's an energy.
See, okay. Man. So it was basically from Jammies and Bobby, like basically. Yeah. Because like Yeah, because Bobby used to do most of the mixing for King Jammy's label, right?
Correct.
Oh, okay. So that was the whole ring.
And then he started to produce on his own and started to devise artists like Admiral Tibet, Shabba Ranks. You know, those were some of his first songs. Sanchez, those were some of his, I'm gonna try a thing and I say, yo, I have some rhythm and I'll try a thing. And those were some of the first artists that advised with Bobby Digital and Garnet Silk and, the rest goes on, Tony Rebel, and boom, there comes Morgan Heritage came on the scene.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. You guys really made it
yeah. And Bobby Sammy really took us as, he never had like an artist for himself. Every sound system did have an artist, but it match our every school. Like Luciano is known for being with Exterminator, and Anthony B was Star Trail with Everton Blender. And Morgan Heritage was like Digital B. We were like his artists, but we still would freelance and we were vicing with jammies. So we never was that artist that was just locked into one camp. But we locked in with Bobby Digital for about 5-6 years.
I mean, definitely because the album was very impressive for me. No disrespect to, definitely producers and stuff, but it was just the chemistry between you guys and Bobby.
Yeah, man.
Chemistry what you guys had was like, whoo, it's just music. And as you just mentioned, it's the vibe that I felt. I was like, this album that, woo, like, from Protect Us, Jah, and them sang it.
Yeah, man. Bobby brought the vibe with us, and he just brought us down and level us out. And what we brought to the table was some good singing, some good lyrics, and the music. Because in 1999, we after vicing on so much rhythm, we said, Bobby, we're a band. We don't want to keep vicing on rhythm. And when we got to Jamaica, we were already producers. We were producing ourselves, but we didn't have that jerk sauce. We never have that seasoning there. And Bobby just brought with that seasoning. So we was like, let us show you what we learned, and we want to do live music, because at the time everybody just come with a drum machine, plug up the 1/4 inch them and just start make some rhythm and live bass keyboard, and then that was it. We said, let's go into let's build some music live. And that's how you got the song like Cotton to a Trap and Don't Have to Dread and Liberation, the Jaja City production with Capleton, Jah Cure, Rothschild, Bushman. And Bobby was so thankful. After that, Bobby licked out his vocal booth and put in a drum set.
Yeah.
And then after the success of Don't Have to Dread and the Liberation rhythm, every producer that had just a vocal booth started to knock out the wall and put in that drum set.
Oh, wow.
Because live music wasn't being made in Jamaica, so it wasn't popular at the time.
Yeah. You have to go like Top Kong or them studio if you go deal with live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was rare at the time too, because it was mostly foreigners that came and wanted that tough gang sound that was booking it, international artists that would come and say, I want to record in the studio. But when you talk about a drum sound, I'm telling you, like, Tough Gang is that classic drum sound that you can't beat. It's the best drum sound, I believe, in Jamaica.
Like songs like Liberation, Don't Have to Dread is also from your label, right?
Yeah, Don't Have to Dread was Bobby Digital, but we produced it. It was still a Bobby Digital production, but what happened is that we kind of drove Bobby in the direction to say, hey, we are a band, so we should be recording live music. So it's a true representation when you hear it live at a concert. And he rolled with us, and then we went to Grove Recording Studio, which is now known as Irie FM.
Okay. Wow.
So a guy named Barry O'Hear helped us to record those songs at the time, which
but the label, right? Oh no, my bad. I was thinking of Down by the River.
Down by the River.
That label is your label, or is that somebody else?
That's our label. That's 721 Records.
Okay, 721 Records.
Yeah, we had two labels. It was 721 Records was our label, and we had another one called HMG, Heritage Music Group.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Blue label.
Yes, the blue label.
That's the one. I have the dub say Murderation boy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's correct.
The whole Love is the Only Solution from Jah Cure, Jaja City from Kiputan. That whole production. How did you guys start that one?
Well, at the time when Don't Have to Dread and those things took off, people started to recognize Morgan Heritage as producers and was like, yo, them huge are bad. And, you know, they started to recognize that we weren't just only singers, right? Because we played instruments, and 9 times out of 10, any musician that is out on tour or touring with a band or making records, they can produce a track, you know? And my father said, we want to produce some young artists. And then at the time, we just went to mixing lab, book out the studio, and every January after East Fest, we would have auditions. Any artist in Jamaica that wanted to record would be there. That parking lot would be full, because that was the original way to get on a rhythm. And that culture was wiped out of Jamaica. If you don't know a producer, you can't come in at the yard. And what we did, we opened up mixing lab on Dunbarton Road to say, hey, any artist comes, and boom, we discovered Jah Cure. Because Jah Cure was one of Kiputan, just one of the little bubble youth them hanging out with Kiputan. But he was an artist in his own right, military man. Yeah. All of these artists were a man that was in David House camp. And we would just say, yo, come make them voice them Kiputan. And we gave them a chance, and I will never forget, I heard Jah Cure singing under the tree. I'm saying, yo, come here, Russ. I'm saying, sing that again. And he was like, I'm saying, all right, we have to tune you up a little bit and fix you up. And then I started to train, I started to vocal coach Jah Cure.
Okay, wow.
Right? And even out of that came Jah Cure recorded Sugar Minot. We never recorded Sugar Minot before, rest in peace. Who else came out of that? Warrior King. And then we left on tour. So we became so busy because we was helping to develop all of these artists. So that Jaja City Rhythm was one of the staple that really the Morgan Heritage family and friends, till you had volume 1, then we had volume 2 and volume 3. We recorded artists from BUJU Banton, Bounty Killer, Sugar Minot, Barris Hammond, the Marley Brothers, Capleton, Jah Cure, Rush Shiloh, Bushman. I mean, you name it. It was something special.
Yeah, that was a crazy movement right there. Like, as you said, like, I've seen you doing like a lot of work with like, you know, I'll be in and out to Jamaica, go vice dub plate and stuff as Mighty Crown. And I've been to studio sessions and I've seen you doing like all of the works. And then yeah, like, you know, so that was the time, like, you were starting that the whole label thing on.
Yeah.
So when you guys like really started touring though, like as Morgan Heritage, like?
Oh, we were touring from 94. When we were from 94, before we came to Jamaica, when we got signed to MCA Records, and then the album was released in 94, we went on tour right away. And we were touring, opening up for bands like the Gap Band. We were, you know, doing, you know, the little reggae festivals across America, like Reggae on the River up in Humboldt County in California. Bob Marley did in Long Beach Arena in Long Beach, California. We were doing all the reggae festivals across the world. Okay.
One of my favorite songs with you and BUJU, Psalm 23, Penthouse Flavor.
Yes.
How that come about?
Well, that came about the relationship between me and BUJU, really, you know. BUJU had sent for Morgan Heritage in, I believe it was 98, between 97 and 98, when BUJU was on tour in Europe. But he didn't have an opening act for the London leg of the tour, which was 8 shows. At the time, Morgan Heritage was hot, you know. Everybody was like, yo, it's Morgan Heritage. And we were blown up in the UK with a song named New Time, New Sign. You ready for a new time? I see the new. At that time, Don't Have to Dread didn't even release yet. We didn't. That never recorded yet.
Yeah.
So, and we had another song called One Dingy that was done with King Jammy. So the two albums had released, but we never toured England yet. And BUJU sent for us. Long story short, we meet BUJU in the lobby and him say, yo, check for your vibe, man. Come check me in my room. And then I went to his room. We started doing some push-up. And he said, yo, you look like you fit. You love fitness. And show me do push-up. And then I showed him some push-up. I'll show you one day where I'll show you the push-ups. And after that, we got back to Jamaica. The shows went incredible. The shows were, a lot of them were sold out.
Okay.
We got back to Jamaica, and you know, at the time my girlfriend was living in Meadowbrook, and he would say, yo, I come check you, Meadowbrook in it. I say, yeah man, because I know I start broke out now, you know, because I start left St. Thomas now and sleep overnight at home. So, you know, I was growing up in Jamaica now, getting big man now, and BUJU said, now come check you. And he would ride his dirt bike down there. Yeah. I said, yo, he would come to the house at 6 o'clock in the morning, making up nice, brip, brip, brip. Yo, wake up, man. And I'm like, this guy is a madman. Long story short, we went to the studio and say, yo, man, I sang more and me and you for sing. And I said, wow. And I said, yo, well, you know, me's not a solo artist. And I said, yo, man, I'm Morgan here, but I want you sing the lead on it. So if you notice on the record, it says Gramps of Morgan Heritage. I said Gramps Morgan. Time the Gramps Morgan, no boss yet, that brand wasn't even established. So we recorded it, and that was a Morgan Heritage and BUJU BANTON collaboration, except I was singing the lead on it. And he fell in love with my voice. He saw something special in it. I said, yo, you need to sing some more, you know, different. You know, you sing with your brother them, and then all of a sudden my voice started to grow. So it took time for me to grow into what you hear today. And then when you start listening more Morgan Heritage record, you start hearing, she's still loving me.
Yeah.
All those different songs, Down by the River. So it took time to grow.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, you know, we all know Peter as the leading vocal, and then, you know, doing as the Morgan Heritage.
Yeah.
But like, I know you're always like, basically like, how would I say, like, not covering up, but like basically always did it with your voice. That makes uniqueness definitely with Morgan Heritage.
Yeah, it's something special, man. We found that out when we went and did our solo projects, and then we got back in the studio. We said, man, there's something special about us as a band, you know. Let's never take it for granted. So we'll never ever go against that, you know, and try to erase history. That history is now set and marked in history.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. Your brothers that left the band probably be like, damn, I should have stayed in the band, man. What's now you guys are like not really touring as Morgan Heritage. The last album you guys released was last year, or
Loyalty,
2 years ago.
Loyalty, last year. Yeah,
because I remember seeing you guys in Rotterdam, which was in Spain.
Yeah, big show, big festival.
That's like the last tour you guys did, right? Maybe.
Yeah, after that, then, you know, we came home and did a couple Caribbean shows, St. Kitts and Nevis, couple shows we did after that, and then there was the virus. And then we got stuck, but we had 5 months of touring, man. It was May, June, July, August, September. It was like 4 months. Really 4.5 months of touring, almost 5 months of touring, booked, ready to go. And then we were supposed to start in May and finish up in September. In April, because we had a show, we started in St. Kitts, the tour started. And then the virus just mashed up everything.
Okay.
We were there sitting and waiting around March, April, and the agent saying, I said, yo, is the tour gonna be canceled or? And then it just went worse and worse. Every day you hear this man shut down, this tour canceled, this thing canceled, I'm like, but I was still away, sir.
Okay. So it's not like you guys are. So it's not like you guys are like in a pause or nothing. You guys are just
no. What? When we had tours, some people are still asleep, man. We toured non-stop. Like That's our favorite part of the music and making the record, you know. But the favorite part is performing those songs live. There's no such feeling. And I mean, we were set to go business as usual, Sammy. And then we got stuck at home. And I started focusing on my CBD business and was doing a lot of traveling in South Korea, Israel, was about to go to the Philippines and Singapore. So it was business as usual for Morgan Heritage. You know, as well as my CBD business that I do with my wife, we had me very, very busy and traveling all over, including the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, my wife wrote the laws. She's a doctor and scientist, so she wrote the laws, the cannabis laws for St. Kitts and Nevis. So it was business as usual before the world crashed. So Morgan Heritage we was actually in the studio working on a new album. And then the song People Like You just came out of nowhere, out of my pain of my Uncle David passing away, my father's brother. And it kind of hit close to home. And, you know, I try to sing from a special place in any song that I sing, especially when it's just me and the burden is there. When Peter is there to carry a verse, it's like, whew. I mean, Peter is not only one of the baddest singers in reggae, but one of the baddest singers that I've ever met. He's not normal, you know, but I think there's just something special about when mine and his voice and my sister, you and I, we all sing together, because that's a chemistry that's coming from we were kids, you know. So there's something special about that people can feel and they don't know what it is. So it was business as usual, man, until the COVID.
Okay. So now you released this single. Let's talk about the People Like You now.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned a little early on, like, so basically, you had your uncle passed away, and
the digital 40s.
And so that was that the timing for you to like say, yo, you know what, I'll sing this song?
Yeah, it was my partner Johnny Reed, which is an amazing songwriter. Here in Nashville, Tennessee, and he's an artist in his own right. And he has his own studio called Soul Train Studios in Nashville, and he invited me over, and the relationship just built. And while the whole COVID thing was going on, I was like, yo, I'm gonna try to learn something, because this guy's a songwriter. And like I always tell people, it's not every songwriter is an artist, and it's not every artist is a songwriter. When you talk about like Bugle, he came into his own as an artist, but before, he was one of the baddest songwriters for enough DJ in Jamaica, including Elephant Man, Bounty Killer, you name it, right? So that's one of the things with me, and I want to say, yo, I want to get better after this COVID. I want to be safe. I can come back to my brother and say, yo, me get wicked from my lyrics them now, no? Because there's a handful of great songwriters in Jamaica, and like I said, it's not every artist can write songs. It's just a fact, you know. Whitney Houston, some of her greatest hits, she never wrote none of the lyrics. I Will Always Love You was a Dolly Parton song that was done over. So, long story short, with Johnny Reed, he saw what I was going through, and me and him became partners and started working on stuff, and wanted to get some artists from Jamaica to come to Nashville and record in his studio and just, you know, bring some soul to Nashville. That was his thing, because he grew up on soul music. And, you know, country music is predominant here, and adult contemporary gospel music is very prominent in Nashville, Tennessee, as well as hip hop. We talked about, you know, the G Unit, named Young Buck. Yeah, he's from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So there's other music and other genres other than country music that is in Nashville. I know they have Gramps from Morgan here, so reggae day I know. So what really happened is that it just start flow, Sammy. And when him see me, I go through a thing and say, yo, man, he come from Scotland. He said, you got to put your voice on this song, mate. You have to sing it. And I said, where I said, Johnny, and he played it for me. And I said, yo, I'm just going at the booth, and within 2-3 hours, the song was done. And then boom, they say, yo, I'll get Chin. I'll get Chin and make Chin play. And send it to Chin on WhatsApp. I said, waiting out that tune. Brother, the man right in the back and say, yo, brethren, this is on some next level. And I was like, whoa. And even me shocked. I knew it was a great song, you know, but enough time there's great songs that don't fit into certain lane, you know. And then I realized that that's GRAMPS MORGAN. Like, where do you play that song, right? What format do you play it on? Is it pop radio? Is it country radio? Is it dancehall radio? Is it reggae radio? Is it calypso? No, is it, what kind of song is it? It's a GRAMPS MORGAN song. And that's what it is. When you listen to the 23rd song, what kind of song is that? You don't know. It's just a good song, right? That's music. And that's why I'm trying to build myself that. You say, what kind of music that GRAMPS does? The GRAMPS MORGAN music. So if you have play it, just play it. And respect to Irish and Chin for just taking that. And one of the things about our sound system culture is that all of our sound man them are music connoisseurs. We don't only just play reggae and dancehall because they know about R&B. You talk about Tony Matera that has the biggest mouth and loud and vibrant. But the man is a lover of country music. And a lot of the artists, you talk to Shawnee B, is the same thing. You hear them talk about different genres of music. You talk to a Mighty Crown. You guys are lovers of different genres. You got some hip hop dub plates. Yeah, I mean, we have all kind of artists dub plate. So it just shows you that our community are lovers of music, not just all right, because sound system thing come out of reggae and dancehall till all Swiss Beats and Timbaland cut out a piece of it and monetized sound system clash culture. That's what they did, which was brilliant. Yeah. Big up to Versus and Swiss. So what I'm saying is that we're bigger than we even know, brother. So when you hear a song like People Like You and then Tony Matterang gets it, then you got it. And then the song just started spreading the car. And it's not, we even say that song is a reggae tune, but me's a reggae artist where I sing a tune and a man say, yeah, GRAMPS tune. Like we hear it. Let me see if it's a good song or an idiot song GRAMPS sing. And fortunately enough, people are attracted to the song. And, you know, it's a song that makes people really feel appreciated, you know? Because the people that are still out there working in the supermarkets, getting us our mail, the people that can make us still get toilet paper to go about through. We have to big up those people, the people in the hospital, the nurses, the doctors that continue to go to work and put their life on the line. Respect to them. Those are people that we sing, people like you, we appreciate.
So that's a song originally done by Johnny Reed, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So he wrote the song, but he actually heard the voice matched voice with your voice, and because I listened to his song, is definitely is a bad song, but when we hear your song now, it's like, yo, it's the same song, but it's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's basically the same lyrics, but I see like the total difference. Like I've had this a lot in reggae music because like a lot of soul singers and you know, back in the 80s, they used to sing the original, but like when I get into music in the late 80s, early 90s, when I got into reggae music now, when I listened to a lot of Sanchez song or Wayne Wonder song, I thought they were singing, like, I thought that was the original. And when me do it, and I'm like, oh God, what? Yeah. Cover soul song, like, there's something about reggae artists, like they have this talent to make it sound like it's original.
Yeah, like their own.
A lot of people don't know, like, it's Johnny Reed's song, and everybody thinks it's your song.
Yeah. Well, it's my song.
It's your song, yeah, definitely. But is your voice and the whole piano structure, the keyboard structure, the whole thing just match up, and
that's all, and all of that is Johnny Reed. That was all. It was produced by him, you know. So he produced the record and then said, you know, I want your version to be special. So it just shows you the kind of man that my partner is. You know, he's unselfish and and he heard my voice and said, man, your voice needs to be out there. He kind of said a similar thing to what BUJU said to me when he heard me performing every night with my family Heritage at nighttime. He said, yo, you have a voice, the youth. I'm like, what? You know, to me, it was just another day in the office. So Johnny Reed really hear, you know, and say, yo, you. And then he said, yo, sing this song. And then it just took off from there, man. And I'm excited for people to hear the entire album, because you're gonna hear Gramps like you never hear before. You know the Gramps voice from Heritage, and you know it from my 2 solo albums, Two Sides of My Heart, Volume 1 with Wash the Tears, and my other solo album, which was called Reggae Music Lives. But when people hear this, you're gonna hear a certain maturity. You can hear rest. You can hear like the experience, and you're gonna hear growth. The biggest thing is you're gonna see why growth. This man gone to another frequency, and so big up to Panic, man.
Your solo album is in progress now already.
Oh, it's done.
Oh, it's done.
It's done.
When is it gonna get released?
Well, we're looking at August, September, the latest. Okay. But it wasn't. All of this wasn't even planned. That even when the song came out, and Mojo hit me up and said, "Yo, Bridget, where you find this tune at?" Because it just started blowing up after Irish and Chin played it. Then Tanta Irie in Miami played it, and then the Soundman them started taking it up, and so it was really a thing where Mojo hit me up and Mojo went and made his own video and started blasting out the song. And but that's a family. That's what we do. Because if you hear something that's winning, you're gonna say, "Yo." And then my dad called me and said, "I need you to finish up some more songs like these." He was so excited. So me and Peter and Mojo got on the phone, and my sister Una called me, and Luke's called me, and I was like, "Yo, you really something's going on with your voice. I don't know what's going on at the time." And they was like, "Gramps, you better run with this, because there's something that's happening. You got to know when the dimensions change." And when Michael Jordan is shooting and he's in a zone, you can't stop him. You say, "Keep going." Just so that's what the family said to me. They say, "Yo, keep going, don't stop." And then hence, my dad said, "Yo, I want you to put out our next solo album." And Mojo and Peter said, "Yo, let's go. Let's go. You were in the zone." And so I'm excited. They're excited for me. The entire family is excited and waiting for this new album.
Can't wait to hear the album, definitely.
Yeah.
Anytime you're ready for send on, just send on the song. Oh, wow, nice. That's really good to hear. Like, so I kind of understand the whole you moving from, we're basically in and out from St. Thomas, Jamaica, like out of Brooklyn, out of Atlanta, now Nashville, and this song come about. The story is incredible, Gramps.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
It's just like everything is so understandable.
Get ready, man.
Wow, man. Looking forward for the album, man. Most definitely.
Yeah. I hope it will be a game changer.
So what you can say to the Japanese massive and the rest of the world who's gonna be watching?
I want to say to the Japanese massive that first, arigato gozaimasu. I want to say that first, and that the Japanese people are a people that should be an example to the world. I remember when we first came to Japan, and the discipline, the respect that I grew up on in a Jamaican household, and that respect and principle came from the church. My grandmother was a Seventh-day Adventist, so that discipline and that rigidness, which I think Jamaica is missing today, that needs to come back in order to save the integrity of our country and many other parts of our culture and the future of Jamaica. And the Japanese people, I was always intrigued by our Japanese fans, the emotion, the respect, the honor. That is an example to the world that we can all take a book out of the Japanese culture to learn how to respect each other, how not to disrespect each other. I remember there was 2 promoters that wanted to bring MORGAN Heritage to Japan, and the other one wouldn't. He didn't want to do it because just out of respect, because he said, this promoter bring it first, me have to ask him first permission to bring. And now, if that was 2 Jamaican promoter, I would say, "Yo, am I sure? My lad, am I sure?" And I just want to say to the Japanese people, continue to share your love, to spread your light to the rest of the world, because from the culture, the principle, the respect, the honor, the way you guys eat food, dieting. Like, you know, you don't see Japanese drinking abolipa soda. It's tea, green tea, oolong tea, this kind of tea. And you have cold tea, you have warm tea, you have hot sake, you have cold sake. So I'm just fascinated with the Japanese people, always have been from day one, just the principle and the respect and the class. So thank you to all our Japanese fans. Continue to support the reggae and dancehall culture. Take the good things from our culture, because we are still trying to get some things correct in our music and our culture. So don't listen to the ruffian songs. Take the good of our culture, because we're still finding our way.
People, yes, so we got GRAMPS MORGAN today for a great interview. Thanks for your time.
Oh, man.
MORGAN, enough respect and honor.
Thank you, Sammy. Respect, man. Big up your brother for me, Simon.
Definitely. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Yeah.